Hello there. Welcome back to Understanding Design. Last time we touched upon how users are at the core of every design activity and how design is user-centered. In our conversation today, Professor Chakravarti and I will focus on this aspect of design. Why do designers give center stage to the user when most other arts like painting, music or poetry would put the creator's imagination at the center? It's because design is a little different from other creative fields, and we'll discover how as we go along. How did this focus on the user come about?
Well, for any design to succeed, it's important that designers understand who is the user and in what context the product is going to be used. This helps us to assess what is being designed and whether it is relevant for the user and if it serves the intended purpose. Take, for example, our heritage lighting project. In most of our monuments, we found out that it is completely cluttered with tube lights, wires and switches, and it completely spoils the ambience in the structure. We designed a special fixture which matches the aesthetics of the heritage structure as well as has the lights behind so that they are completely hidden and we have backlighting to see the structure in a much better way. We also have put this up in display over here where you can see.
This is an expression of communication design. The lighting makes it look precious, creates a certain sense of respect. Does it discourage graffiti writing? Like Mayur loves Neha?
I wish it could, but when the ambience is better, people do respect the heritage monument.
That was a site-specific design, which of course can be adapted to different locations. There must be other examples where the users are all of us?
Yes. Let me tell you about this interesting project of mine, the common post box, which is available in all locations. Yes, that's the one. This is universal design and it is available and okay for all climates and all localities. Let me now show you my case study of how we went about designing it.
This has been his passion for quite a while.
So here we have the new design with the combination of the aesthetic of the earlier round post box as well as the modern image of a rectangular box with good manufacturing facilities. The most important aspect in the post box was that we made it very convenient for the people. So we have a large opening where the door opens and we can actually see a large opening and you can easily pick up all the letters and put it in his bag at one go. So that was really user friendly for the postman. Then what is in for the users? So the large envelopes, we have a large posting slot as well as for children, we kept the height low so that even a second class going child could post the letter very comfortably. Let me also tell you about the materials and processes we used in this. We use stainless steel and powder coated red so that it can work in all climatic conditions. It could be the rainy areas or it could be seaside where the rusting is very high or it could be in very, very hot temperatures. Oh, that reminds me, when it is extremely hot, when you post a letter inside and if it's made of metal, you could get scalded. So here we designed this posting slot with plastic so that even if a small child goes and posts a letter, the hand will not, get hurt. Now let me tell you about this postman bag which we redesigned. Earlier, postmen were carrying small letters and these letters were hardly heavy. Today, the postmen have very, very heavy loads. They carry business post, they carry book post, and because of that, we redesigned the postman bag like a backpack so that it's very, very convenient to carry long distances. When they go closer to the homes, they can actually use a sling to dispense the letters very easily into the homes. Finally, we launched this box. We went to the India Post and they finally said this could be tried out in the field.
Oh, they must be so pleased.
Oh, yes, it was really implemented and we made some mock-ups and we gave it to them. Let us go back to the example we used last time, that of designing a chair. A designer who is given such an assignment would like to know where the chair is going to be used. Is it for an office or for a classroom, or it could be even for an old age home? This question leads the designer to the end user, the person who will be actually using that chair.
Which brings us to the context of the user. As designers, we need to know exactly where the chair will be used, what the local conditions are like, what the environmental factors are, what the user's socio-economic circumstances are. Let's speak more on the context and why it is so important.
We could say that context is a sum total of all the factors that affect the way the user interacts with a product or a service or a process. These factors range from intrinsic ones like user psychology, user habits, age, physical limitations, to external ones like the user's workspace, their home, the climate, and cultural factors.
Now, that certainly tells us just how much thought about context goes into successful designing. Delving a bit deeper into context, we find there are several kinds of users, about all of whom we need to know.
There are at least 3 types of users: the primary user, the secondary user, and the tertiary user. In case of the office chair, the primary user is the person who is going to sit in the chair. The secondary user could be the people buying and maintaining the chair. And the tertiary users are the ones who are manufacturing and transporting. The designer must understand the requirements of each user so that all the user issues are taken care of. So now we have multiple contexts to look at.
So that was about understanding multiple users. But when it comes to personal issues like health and diet, we need to understand the socio-cultural context of the users. Professor Chakravarti will tell us more about users and context with the examples of a fascinating project he worked on recently. It involved a special kind of seat for police constables on duty, right?
I notice we are in a sense continuing with our chair theme, although the seats that I designed for the police are far from comfortable office chairs we use. In Mumbai city, it is common to find police constables standing on roads for long hours to ensure law and order during public events. During the survey, we found that they spend many hours on roadsides providing security to the visit of dignitaries. Standing unsupported for hours is very, very painful for the legs and back. They desperately need to have some support, and we sometimes see them using their police stick as a prop to lean on. This was spotted by a journalist, and she promptly put it in the newspaper. The Joint Commissioner was pretty hurt. He requested me to work on such a design so that the policemen could get rest while they are still on duty. He requested me to find a solution and suggested I look at the cricket umpire seat as a starting point. When we first explored this suggestion, it proved to be unsuitable for the context. It would be an additional item they would have to carry, and that would hinder them in their regular duties. At best, such designs from other contexts could serve as inspiration, but our context demanded a new design. This underlines how any attempted design without adequate understanding of a user group in its context is likely to be unsuccessful. In this case, the primary users were the police constables. The secondary users were the police commissioner and the people in the procurement and stores departments. The tertiary users were the manufacturers and distributors of the seat who would have their own requirements like storage and dispensing.
So what did you have to study?
Getting a clear understanding of the context in which the police work meant understanding all the physical and environmental conditions that they face. The grounds on which they stand while on duty are varied. The seat we designed had to work on concrete, tar roads, and even on grass. We also had to understand the tedious process of procurement and issue. Moreover, we had to be mindful of the cultural context in which the product would function. This meant that we would not suggest something so obviously out of place as a plastic chair we use in houses. From our study of secondary users, the management, we found out that the cost also was very critical, because if the seat is lost, the policeman had to replace it himself. From the tertiary users, we came to know that the scale of manufacture had to be large to make it affordable. So we had to start designing with all these considerations in mind. The first mock-up we made was in thermocol, and it was a seat prop design which would actually sit on top of the police stick. We couldn't take it to a formal presentation because it could neither be tried and it could not be shown to anybody.
So what did you do?
We had to come up with an idea to actually work out a working prototype. So we looked at his office chair and we said if we can break this armrest into two parts and use it together to make a prototype, we could actually test with the policemen. So we actually broke the armrest of the chair in the two parts, joined them together, and we had a cycle handle grip fitted to this. So now we could actually fit it on the police stick and also try it out and see whether it is really restful. And it was very, very comfortable. We ourselves were very happy. And then we took this whole design to the police commissioner's office and they tried it out and they were very, very happy with the design and they approved it instantly in their office.
That's very nice. What did you do next?
Encouraged by this response, we came back and designed a CAD model of the design and went for mass manufacturing. We created a high quality rubber prototype which could be mass produced too with the same tooling. This prototype now would fit on the stick very comfortably, and this also we found out that they were having multiple types of sticks which they were using, so they could use it on the tungsten stick as well as on the lathi which they traditionally use. We manufactured 200 numbers of these and sent them to the police stores for issue to the field. The survey showed that 80% of the primary users approved of the design, and of course, the tertiary and the secondary users were very, very happy.
User satisfaction is extremely important, and this can only be assessed by observing the users actually using the designed object.
The process is iterative, meaning we must be ready to revise our prototypes as often as necessary until the users are fully satisfied.
Many methods have been devised to understand users better. One obvious method is observation. But when observation is not sufficient, designers ask questions or engage in conversation with users because a freewheeling conversation often reveals things that the designers may have never thought of.
In conclusion, we could say that design is user-centered and these users have to be understood in their context.
This context may be socio-cultural, economic, or technological. When a design takes both the users and their context into consideration, it may then impact society meaningfully. In our next module, we will look at how design impacts society. And don't forget, a little design goes a long way.